Okay, so you're going to be able to make that hit, but it's going to be able to kick you in return. Now, do
Okay.
you want to try and apply a technique there?
Let me take a look. Yes, I will try to apply a technique.
Alright, so roll plus intelligence. Okay, so what technique are you going to apply?
I will apply galvanic, sending a course of electricity through the beast, paralyzing that limb it was just going to strike me with.
Okay, good use of that technique. We're going to have to dispense with the damage it was doing to you. And now roll your damage against that flea. Alright, so you do some damage to the flea. Anyone else? Or do you want me to do something terrible?
Encouragio is going to see how Hawk is dealing with the fleas, and since they're already engaged, he's going to change tactics to trying to stab the flea, flea 5, in fact, in the face.
Now remind me, that's the one that Hawk attacked before, right?
Yes.
Cut the legs off.
Alright, give it a shot. Try your hack and slash. Roll plus strength.
That didn't go so good.
No, it did not. Unfortunately, when you try to make your strike, the flea jumps over your blade and lands on your head. You're going to need to roll a
terrible.
d8.
Head crab!
Alright, well, your armor negates that, but you do get knocked over on your butt.
Oof.
Okay, so Incursio has fallen on his butt, but it looks like Gigaflea 5 might be distracted. What do you think, Hawk?
I think I might take a nice quick step up behind it and try to cut it in half.
Go for it. That's a hack and slash.
Willem, aren't you going to make a joke? The paladin just fell down.
Maybe later. There's a time and place, you know.
Do I still get the extra +1?
No, get away!
I'm gonna say yes, seeing as it's distracted by jumping on that pompadour. Ah, nice one. So roll your damage.
Should be a D.
For a fighter, it's a D10, isn't it?
So that's why I was quick trying to rush back to that page.
Page 9?
And
Yeah, it's a D10. Alright, now tell us about your weapon. Does it have any special properties?
it does in fact have sharpness.
Ah, what does that do?
A +2 to pierce.
Okay, so that means it pierces through the armor of its enemies. Which means that you have cut off the back end of this flea. Now, green goo is spurting out of it onto your face, and it's still alive. Anything that any of you want to do about that?
Alarming. Well, since I'm already here, I'm going to try to find a soft spot underneath it and shank it.
Alright. You're going to roll your hack and slash, so roll plus strength. Okay, good. And roll your damage. Okay. You are able to find a soft spot, a chink in the flea's abdominal armor, and sever its brain stem. The thing falls dead on top of you. But you're able to push it off.
With the help of Willem, who wants to run up and drop kick the flea in the head.
After it's dead?
Yep.
So you're going to go and... Is that your action?
Yeah, that's my action.
Okay, so you're going to roll plus dexterity. You're defying danger here, because you need to run past some fleas, but you don't have any trouble with it.
He actually prances there.
Yeah, you do a jaunty jig on top of that flea's dead body. What are the rest of you doing while this is happening?
Lanalar will move in for the kill on the flea that he wounded a second ago.
Alright. So same as before, you know the drill.
Yep.
Okay, so it looks like you weren't able to get past the two dead Gigaflea bodies between you and that Gigaflea. And it was actually slashing at you with its mandibles. And you're going to need to roll for some damage there. So that's a d8. Alright, so you take 6 damage minus 1 from your armor.
I am wounded.
Lannilar is wounded. What are the rest of you going to do about that?
Laugh.
Oh no, Lannilar!
Why don't you stand there, you fool? Help me!
Well, Incursial will leap back to his feet with a wicked dance twist.
That sounds like you're going to need to roll plus dex.
Indeed.
Give it a shot. Let's see what happens.
As he begins his muscle ballet, which doesn't go so well.
Doesn't go so well. I'm not rolling like crap tonight.
Well, you do get back on your feet, but as you do, you actually kind of stick your head into the flea's mouth. So you're going to need to roll some damage there, another d8.
This is no time to explore your Vorkink.
Alright, well, you're getting lucky on damage at least.
Indeed.
And if you want to
The
get your attack
pompadour
in,
reflex.
Down on this helmet.
if you want to get your attack in while it's busy chewing on your pompadour, now's the time.
There's no helmet, man. It's all the pompadour. But
Oh
yes,
man, even better.
but yes, while it's chewing on my head, I will try to dislodge its jaws from, my hair, man. It's chewing on the hair, and I'll do that with my sword. Actually,
Yeah,
no,
that's
I'm going to
no good.
shield bash it.
Alright, well, it's the
Doesn't
same
matter
damage
much, but-
either way. Unless that's a move I'm not aware of. Okay, so you are able to shield bash it, but as you're doing that, it's snaking its what's the word I'm looking for? Its legs
Proboscis? Oh.
around your shield and slashing at your arms. So first roll your damage against that Gigaflea. It doesn't seem to be affected by your shield. You're going to need to roll against yourself for damage again with the d8. Okay, so you're fine. It's a bit of an
Attacking with a
impasse.
shield.
Can you help out with this, Hawk?
Perhaps I could. I say zipping over and trying to put an end to it with a mighty cleave.
Okay, let's see what happens.
Do I still get the extra +1 or?
At this point, seeing as it is hugging his shield, I would say yes, but if you roll under a 10, you might hit Incursio. But you don't. So roll your damage against that flea. It's dead. You bisect it entirely.
You hear the tang of the metal hitting of the sword hitting the shield. And then she just looks straight at Lannilar. Nods slowly.
Lannilar frowns with Willem crawling over his back, I guess.
And Willem,
Speaking of,
what are you going to do, Willem?
he's actually going to kind of move past Lannilar and then try to roll over the two Gigafleas and bring his short sword down onto Gigaflea number 2.
Alright, well, roll for dexterity for that sweet move you're going to do. Alright, so you're able
I will
to do
try
it.
to aid this attack. Oh, well, he already did well. Never
Well,
mind,
no,
I guess.
go ahead. Try
Oh.
to aid him.
Okay. Basically by pushing him.
You're rolling plus the number of bonds you have with him.
Yeah, I just have to review. Okay, I have 1 bond with Willem.
Okay. So you're going to add a 1 to that, and that brings you up to a 10. So no negative repercussions as you roll off Nilnar's back and prepare your short sword to strike at the Gigaflea. So strike at the Gigaflea with a hack and slash. Roll plus strength. Looks like you get it, but the Gigaflea headbutts you while you are stabbing it with your blade. So first roll
Ooh.
your damage against that flea. Okay. And now roll the flea's damage against you. That's a d8.
Oof.
Oh!
Oh!
You are struck a mighty blow.
You fool! I told you to stay out of the fighting.
I was trying to save you, Lanala. Ah! Can't breathe.
Lenelar,
I
your
can keep talking.
bard is in danger.
Oh, bother. I will rush forward to try and extract to impose myself between Willem and the flea, and, hopefully kill the flea.
So are you going to try and shield Willem, or are you going to try and attack the flea?
I suppose I will try to shield Willem.
So that's a defend. You're going to need to roll plus Constitution.
Okay.
Okay, now do you want to redirect that damage to yourself, or do you want to have the damage on him?
I will have the damage on him.
Alright. So how do you do that?
I murmur a glyphic ward into my sword and cut the air in such a way that a vacuum is created, stealing some of the momentum of the Gigaflea's blow and lessening it.
Cool. So
Thank
Willem,
you,
you
Kenshin.
only take 4 damage.
Shut up.
Oh, Lanala.
That's exactly what it was, though.
Lanala, you are the specialist of snowflakes.
Alright, this
Oh.
flea is still alive and kicking. What are you going to
While
do?
this is going on, Encouragio is just going to rush over there and heroically leap into the air and try to bring his sword down on top of it.
Alright, go for it. You've got a clear space to get there. So roll your hack and slash.
I'm just not doing too good.
That's okay. That's alright. You certainly get its attention. So let's see how much damage that does to you.
Ooh,
Oh.
stuff gets through.
Yeah, you actually take 5 damage there.
This flea's hit its second wind.
It has. This flea is dangerous. What do you think, Hawk? Are you able to do anything about that?
I think I will have to just charge and perhaps step over the corpses of Gigaflea 1 and 6 and dramatically leap and go for the overhead strike as I pass by.
She's trying to show me how it's done.
Yeah.
Well, you're defying danger first, so you're going to need to roll plus dexterity for that flashy show.
Let's see, that's a +1.
Alright, no problem whatsoever. You do a triple axle as you flip over all of this nonsense below you, and let's see what happens when you bring your blade down. Try a hack and slash. Alright, so you hit, but unfortunately, as you were spinning in the air, you didn't quite calculate the downwards momentum properly, so you're going to hurt yourself when you land. Roll a d6 for the damage you do to your knees there.
It's like that Simpsons episode where they show a dude doing the dismount off the rings, and he lands and his ankle just cracks.
And while you're landing, it looks like you're not too badly inconvenienced from that, thanks to the skills that you have. But see what your sword does when it lands on that Gigaflea. So roll your damage on that sword. Okay. You cleave the Gigaflea in twain once again.
Doesn't my armor soak the damage?
Yes, it does. That's why you weren't too badly inconvenienced. So you have dealt with the flea scourge. Unfortunately, you have all lost 1 day of rations.
Oh no!
But the good news is you arrive at your destination without any further issues. And your destination is this big rock to the south of you. So if you want to move your pelves down here.
Hawk's face just glitches out.
Am I carrying him now?
I guess so.
Yes.
Alright, now as you approach the stone, you notice that there's a man there. He's wearing what appears to be a crown with birds' wings attached to it on his head, and his face has been painted by some type of berries or sap of some sort that gives him a fearsome visage. Now, Willem, you recognize this man. What's his name again?
I do. It's Jonda, the Birdman.
It is Jondar the Birdman. Hello, says Jondar the Birdman. I knew you would be here soon. I'm only glad that you've arrived. What took you so long?
Big fleas.
Chewing on the elf's head.
Ah, yes, the gigafleas.
No such thing occurred.
They have been a plague upon this land of late.
Then
Tell me.
rejoice, for they shall plague you no longer, for the sword of Lanalar fell upon them.
That's good. You know that a plague is a large number, right? It's not... You know, I'm not using hyperbole there. I legitimately mean a plague.
Then
So
the
you're saying
plague
there are
shall
more?
soon be lifted, for Lanalar has come among you. Now,
Jonda,
continue.
don't worry about Lanalar the Flowing. He's quite dumb.
I beg your pardon?
Well,
No,
I understand.
A fact's a fact.
Anyway, you, if I recall from my vision, are here to track down the barber.
Dar
Something-
Shadarath.
Suddenly, Curgio's really interested. Springs forward and says, "Yes, what do you know about this foul fiend?"
Meanwhile, Willem is kind of laughing behind his hand.
He thinks Jondar is in on the con with him.
Well, legend tells us that the barber was not an ordinary man. In fact, the barber was massive.
Indeed. For it must contain all of the evil that he represents.
Well, that's one way of looking at it, sure. I mean, it might just literally be massive, too. You guys aren't very good with literal language, are you?
No.
So confident in that.
Well, if you would track down the last known lair of the barber, legend tells us that you must enter through this ancient statue. But that is all the help that I can give you. And Jondar the Birdman turns into a bird and flies away.
Oh,
Oh, just like the stories.
Well, that was an abjectly useless man.
So you're faced with this statue. It looks kind of like a giant face, but obviously made of rock, and the proportions are subtly off. There isn't any visible way in. What do you do?
well, Incurgio immediately draws his sword and begins tapping everything with it.
Okay, what are you looking for as you tap?
Supposedly, loose bits of stone, perhaps.
Or maybe
Okay.
like a hollow sound.
Yeah.
Alright, so you're
Anything
trying
that
to,
sounds
you're
Discern
trying to
reality,
discern
maybe?
realities
Yeah.
there. So roll
Sounds
plus wisdom.
I got your dice luck, Arp.
Someone had to. Seeing as I'm not rolling any dice in this game.
Yeah, it had the curse has to transfer temporarily.
I'm up to 5
So
XP.
as you're tapping away, you think you hear something that sounds hollow, and in your excitement, you strike at it with greater fervor, and the blade of your sword snaps.
Damn.
That's why you don't use an inferior
Well,
weapon.
that was a fine move.
So you no longer have a sword right now. You have a sword hilt with a little bit of metal on it, and you have your shield.
Well, I'm going to frown at my sword and, just discard it. Broken tool. Then I will proudly declaim that this is obviously the lair of the barber, as this rock is evil.
Oh,
stand back, my friend,
Curzio.
and allow me to work my wonders. I believe there's something familiar about this statue.
Oh, yes?
I would like to do a spout lore on
Well,
this.
tell me what you want to say, and then we'll...
Going by the histories of my people, I believe this statue to be a replica, remains of a likeness that was once made of the barber during his dark reign.
Okay, so let's roll plus intelligence to see what happens here.
As it happens, he was actually bald, and that just the forward protrusion was actually just his brow.
Yeah.
He frowned a lot.
Well, that's why they
his
called
skull
him the
was
barber.
essentially a shelf.
He wanted
Yes, they
everyone
say
to be
his
as bald
baldness.
as him.
Yes, and he hated the elves most of all, for we have the most magnificent hair in the world.
And you're so humble.
Okay. It does look like the statue that you saw in an illuminated manuscript back home. And that
Yes, I
illuminated
thought so.
manuscript was about the barber. Or rather, it was about... I've forgotten the name. Just a second. Durshadath.
Durshadath!
So
Punch
you
his
recognize this as an image of Durshadath.
I hope every single time you say that name, there's like thunder and lightning.
Oh no, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do with the whole Durshadath thing, and whenever he says it, he clenches his fists.
The thunder is actually Willem banging two cymbals together.
So now that you know that this is an image of Durshadath or the barber, maybe someone will be able to find an entrance? Find some way to get inside?
Well, logically, if he was against hair so much, it would make sense that there's some way to pop the top of the lid off and then go in through there.
Are you going to go and look for that?
I am. I'm gonna look for the hinge.
Alright, so roll plus wisdom. You're attempting to discern realities. As you are looking, you trip on a twig and fall over, barking your knee, so you're going to take a d6 of damage there.
Ouch.
You're getting really lucky with those rolls.
Look at her roll a d6. Wow, she fell pretty hard.
Alright, well, Willem, any chance you might be able to contribute to this? You did go to Bard School after all, and you know all about the history of the world.
It's true, he did.
Maybe you could use your bardic lore ability?
Don't forget to count an XP when you roll shitty like that, Pharaoh.
Yeah, don't forget that.
Alright. He's gonna start massaging his temples as he thinks back to those heavy books he used to read. Or does he? He never read them, actually. He had someone read them to him.
Oh.
So
An Alethi?
what?
Nothing.
Did you say Lethe?
Stormlight
Yeah.
Archives joke.
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought
So-
you'd read it.
I haven't
This
read
sounds like it might fall under the purview of your bardic lore class ability.
that. Probably right, because you're saying so.
So you can ask me any one question about it, and I have to answer truthfully.
What was this guy's name again?
That's
Either
your
the
question.
barber or Durshadath.
Alright, so first Willem smashes two cymbals together.
Yeah.
And then he's trying to think back, what was it that supposedly was the weak point of the barber?
So you're asking me what was the barber's weak point?
Yes.
Alright, so according to the text that you read, the barber's weak point was his eardrum.
You know, everyone, thinking back on my days at the Bardarium, that's where we learned to be bards.
Yes, you said as much.
Look, okay, don't interrupt me. I'm in the middle of something. Damn it, Lanala. I ought to climb all over you.
God, no, get off, no.
Look.
It's humiliating.
Just climb that tight ass of yours up onto the statue and check his ear.
Very well. Although you may be a fool, even we elves have respect for the knowledge of the Bardarium.
Well, I would hope so. It's quite knowledgeable, you know.
As you're climbing,
yes.
you're going to roll strength there because you're powering through. It is quite a large head. Alright, so you make it up to the ear.
Superior elven athleticism.
Now looking inside the ear, you see that there is an ancient lever deep inside. It looks like you might just be able to reach it.
It seems there is a
Actually-
lever.
It might be a Q-tip. Watch out.
I will be careful. And I will proceed to reach in and try to pull it.
As you pull the lever, the statue of the barber's mouth opens wider and wider until it seems as if he is unhinging his jaw. It's very creepy. But, looking inside his mouth, Willem, who's standing closest to it, can see a passage leading downwards.
Everyone, his butt has opened.
What?
This is his butt.
You just hear Encouragio sigh really loudly.
Look. You probably can't see it from that angle, but from here, this is clearly an anus.
Willem, perhaps you should stand at the guard and keep watch.
I don't think I'll be doing that, Lanla, but that's a good idea. Yeah, okay, let's go, guys.
Alright, you enter the mouth. And I'm going to put a break here.
It's actually an anus.